Hey, in today's video I will be talking about the art of reading individual's character or telling fortunes from the lines and markings of the forehead. And this is called metoposcopy, so the physiognomic interpretation of the forehead. I will also talk a little bit more about physiognomy as these two are related. Physiognomy in the ancient times had a more comprehensive meaning than the modern definition. In the words of an ancient writer, it was a craft through which the conditions of men and their temperaments were fully known by the distinctive features and conjectures of their faces. It consisted of two things, the complexion and the composition of the face and body of an individual, both of which declare and show the things that are within the individual by the external signs as by the color, the stature, the composition, and the shape of the limbs or members. Physiognomy in conjunction with metoposcopy, which like I mentioned before more specifically refers to the forehead, was elaborately treated of both by sacred and profane writers of the early ages. Now before I continue with metoposcopy, here is how Greeks assigned the face regions to the planets. So forehead is ruled by Mars, the right eye by Sun, the left eye by the Moon, the right ear by Jupiter, left ear by Saturn, nose by Venus, and the mouth by Mercury. The signs of the zodiac upon the face are placed like this. Cancer rules the forehead or the zenith, Taurus the middle of the forehead, Leo rules the right eyebrow, Aquarius the left eyebrow, Virgo the right cheek, Pisces the left cheek, Libra the right ear, Aries the left ear, Scorpio rules the nose, Sagittarius the right eye, Gemini the left eye, and Capricorn rules the chin, which is also known as nadir. Hippocrates, a Greek physician and philosopher, in one of his books wrote about head and face, which is seen by all, so by looking at it, the temperament and actions of the person can be judged. And in this way, for example, a head that is not too small or big denotes a fair person, wise, well-conditioned, studious, having a strong and great memory, loving to read books. A very small head is said to be an evil sign. This person may be prone to sickness, imagination is not good, memory slippery. This person is hasty in actions and may have strong headaches. Now, if a head has a straight-like appearance, almost flat in the middle, this person has a good understanding of everything, is courageous, has no fears, is very constant, and with a big forehead, this person may be warrior-like or a soldier. So in metoposcopy, and let's call it sister branch of predictive philosophy, astrophysiognomy, stars exercise a potential influence. Aristotle stated that the forehead is the seat of shame and honor because of the proximity to the power of imagination. The planets are placed in the forehead in the following order. Saturn on the upper line near the hairline, Jupiter is next below, Mars is below Jupiter, Sun below Mars, Moon below the Sun, and Mercury under the Moon at the root of the nose. The signification of the various forms of the forehead are described by Albertus Magnus, who was a Dominican scholar, theologian, scientist, and philosopher, the most prolific writer of his century and the only scholar of his age to be called the Great, and this title was used even before his death. He established the study of nature as a legitimate science within the Christian tradition and was one of the most universal thinkers to appear during the Middle Ages. He wrote on botany, astronomy, astrology, biology, mineralogy, and other topics. So regarding metoposcopy, he wrote, "A great and spacious forehead indicates a sluggish and fearful person, which he compared to an ox. However, these people have a good conscience, they do no harm, and are very fit to become lawyers." Little forehead denotes a wicked person given to mischief, believing only one's own opinions. These people are compared to a cat or a rat, and one example he gives is that of Emperor Caligula, who was an epitome of cruelty and never believed any person of authority. Broad forehead indicates a person who is gluttonous and unclean, and this was regarded to the physical intercourse. This is a flatterer, talking behind someone's back, speaking evil and offensive words, and an overall scandalous person. Other author, Bartolomeo de la Rocca, also known as Cocles, who was a scholar of chiromancy, physiognomy, astrology, and geomancy, said that the one who has a broad forehead on all sides without hair or if bald, this signifies an understanding and daring person, but sometimes malicious and wrathful, and one can be a great liar. According to Aristotle, a square forehead denotes benevolence and generosity, and these people are courageous as lions and are compared to them because of their strength, courage, and prudence. Person who has wrinkled forehead and is low in the middle, and it seems as if is always frowning, these features denote a simple person prone to misfortune, which is cruel and cross. Individual who has a delicate and smooth forehead and has little hair on the forepart of the head is unconstant, wrathful, and ill-conditioned. A concave forehead, and if uneven, is a sign of fearfulness, deceit, cheating, and ambition. Adamantius, an ancient physician, author of a Greek treatise on physiognomy in 2 books, said that the one who had a frowning, wrinkled forehead is of saturnine temperament and melancholic, and denotes one that thinks more than he speaks, premeditating his conceptions before one effects them. If this person is very rich, the greater is the melancholy. A clear forehead without wrinkles signifies a fairness of mind as well as of body, but there may be some malicious disposition given to debates and disputes, and one may not have much devotion. A forehead neither straight, nor lean, nor smooth, nor rough, but between all of these, signifies a well-rounded individual who is friendly without deceit or circumvention. Another thing that has to be taken into consideration are lines of the forehead which have longitude, latitude, and profundity, and begin at one temple and end towards the other. And these lines represent good or bad fortune of the person, and they are planetary, which means these lines are referred to some of the planets. I have mentioned this earlier, but here is in a little bit more depth. So the first line is that of Saturn, nearest to the hairline. Underneath is that of Jupiter, the third belongs to Mars, and the other 4 are in the periphery of the forehead. As the Sun and Moon upon the eyes, Venus above Mercury between the eyes, and Mercury below Venus. In this way, planets are placed according to the celestial rule. Saturn highest, Jupiter next, then Mars, the Sun under Mars, Venus 5th at the root of the nose, Mercury under her, Moon near the left eyebrow, the Sun at the right. In these lines, what must be observed are characters which are shown as marks of the planets, and these marks can be crosses, circles, warts, or some other symbols or signs. And here are some of the general significations of the lines of the planets. Some are fortunate and some unfortunate. Those which are fortunate are those who are straight or bent a little towards the nose, equal, continued, and not dissected or distracted. Those that are not well placed or unfortunate are those which are wavy and winding, looping and curving, approaching a semicircle or a globe. Simple and straight lines denote a simple, good, and honest personality without any malice. Slanting and sometimes distorted lines denote variety and a crafty personality, and if they're short, mischief and deceit. If the right line of the forehead is angled on the side attributed to the Sun, it signifies malice and spitefulness. If the lines of the masculine planets look towards the left side and are plain, this signifies evil personality, especially if Mercury line is included. Many lines denote a multitude of changeable affairs, and less lines, and if they are simple, denote a simple personality. If the lines decrease and increase, they represent something great, and what is it will depend on the character of the planets involved. If Jupiter's line is reflected, this shows great gain with honor and good report. If the lines are long and are not slanted, especially those of Saturn and Jupiter, but also Saturn and Mars, and if they're very apparent, this denotes excessive and mischievous actions. If the line of Jupiter is longer than that of Saturn, this denotes riches. If the line of Mars is longer than others, this indicates a great warrior, and especially if there is a cross on that line, it will indicate choleric temperament and good fortune. A line broken or discontinued, especially that of Saturn or Mars, indicates misfortune or delays. If 2 or 3 lines are found in the place of Mercury, and if they are apparent and straight, simple and equal, this indicates a wise, eloquent, and honest personality. And if there are more than 3 lines and are straight, this indicates inconstancy, instability, deceit, and over-talkativeness. 2 or 3 lines being at the root of the nose and cut in the middle signify a suggestive personality prone to vices. The line of the sun being perfect, long enough, not interrupted or cut, signifies honors and wealth. The moon line, if clear, distinct, and well-shaped above the left eye, denotes much travel in different countries and even finding a home in one of them. So these were some of the examples of the lines on the forehead and their meanings. This was an introduction into metoposcopy, a very interesting branch of physiognomy. In ancient times, almost everything was connected with planets and astrology, which gives me numerous interesting topics to explore, and created these videos, and hopefully making them interesting enough for you. And to finish this video, here is a short story about Socrates, who had his face read by a physiognomer, and who said that the philosopher was inclined towards overindulgence, sensuality, and violent bursts of passion. On this, Socrates' students accused the physiognomer of lying and deception, as these traits were nowhere near Socrates' actual behavior. But Socrates declared that the physiognomer was correct, as he was inclined to such behaviors, but had also developed a severe self-discipline to curb them. It is only right then to end this video with a quote by Socrates, one of the most famous Greek philosophers from Athens, credited as the founder of Western philosophy. One of his quotes I have chosen for today is this one: "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." As always, thank you for being here today. Please subscribe and press a like button. Let me know your thoughts about this topic. Is it interesting to you or not? Do you think it is possible to read or know someone's character just by looking at their forehead? See you in a couple of days. Bye.